Masjid al-Haram, the Muslims thought should be a place where Islamic Allah should be worshipped. You would know. They thought Masjid al-Haram, Islamic Allah, various other idols, and they wanted to get rid of the idols and worship only Islamic. That's the story you would hear. But go through Surah 2.
Sorry, how is that not peaceful? What was your point by bringing that up?
I'll explain right now. And the reality is, the historical reality is, Masjid al-Haram was not a place where Allah was supposed to be worshipped. Jehovah, a specific God, had to be worshipped in that temple according to details given in the Torah, with the Levitical priesthood and all sorts of sacrifices associated with the Torah there. Not some random one God worship, no. It's a particular God worship, Jehovah.
It's a different God from what you believe in?
From Allah. I believe in the same God.
You believe in the same God?
I believe in the same God, Jehovah.
Is it one God?
One God. Can you imagine the Muslims going there in the 7th century? The Muslims went there and they insisted that, hey, look, we also worship one God, and therefore we will build our mosque here. Why? Because they delusionally thought, like the example I gave you of the building, the church, which the Muslims said, hey, look, but Allah needs to be worshipped there, and they barge in. What would the Christians do?
No.
That's exactly what happened in the Temple Mount. So now I'll go back all the way to the Surah Al-Mumtahina and the rest of the... Can I please wrap up that point? And you can, you may not agree.
I'm not going to give my input.
Sure. You may not agree, but take it home for something to consider. As you're 27 now. Maybe in the next 10 years, maybe you might consider this carefully, research further from your sources and whatever. But ask these questions, maybe. And so please take it as an input, which you may not agree with right now, which is this. In the Quran, interaction of the Muslims with multiple different parties are recorded. Jews and the Christians, generally referred to as the people of the scripture, sometimes specialized as Jews and Christians, with custodians of Masjid al-Haram, and with general custodians of Masjid al-Haram. Masjid al-Haram, and finally also general mushrikun, general polytheists, idolaters, and others, wandering Arabs, for instance, in Surah 47 or 48, wandering Arabs. There is reference to the Meccans, Medinans, people of Medina, in one of those chapters also. So there is reference to all sorts of different people and interaction that Muslims had with all sorts of different people. I would like to comment to you, when you study all the interactions in detail,
based on the Quran, or
based on the Quran,
how God tells us to
read through the text meticulously. Historical
or the Quran record, which one?
Quran is also historical.
I'm asking you, which one are you spacing?
I am using the Quran and details outside the Quran, but using the Quran is sufficient. You go through all of it, and what you would find is the exact opposite of what you think Islam is. Islam is not a religion of peace. Historically, I'll give you a simple example. Masjid al-Haram, the Muslims thought should be a place where Islamic Allah should be worshipped. You would know. They thought Masjid al-Haram, Islamic Allah, various other idols, and they wanted to get rid of the idols and worship only Islamic. That's the story you would hear. But go through Surah 2.
Sorry, how is that not peaceful? What was your point by bringing that up?
I'll explain right now. And the reality is, the historical reality is, Masjid al-Haram was not a place where Allah was supposed to be worshipped. Can you imagine?
Reality.
By the historical data recorded in the Quran. In the Quran, I'll read that to you in a minute.
Was not meant to be worshipped there.
Islamic Allah was not meant to be worshipped. Can you imagine a situation where there is a building there? Let's say the building let's say it's a Christian church, a church building, a Christian church, And who will be worshipped in a church? Christian church? Jesus, Jehovah, God of the Bible, That's who will be worshipped. Can you imagine a situation where Muslims think Allah needs to be worshipped there? And the Christians say, no, we don't worship Allah here. And if the Muslims insist that Allah needs to be worshipped there and barge in, clearly there is a side which is wronging here and a side which is in the right here, in the example I've given you. That is exactly what happened with Masjid al-Haram. The Muslims had given the name Masjid al-Haram as recorded in the Quran, completely agreed. But that building, the custodians clearly said
They weren't meant to go there and they went there.
they were not meant to go there and they went there. I'll read one ayat, for example. Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah 2, Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 114. So Surah Al-Baqarah, you see, Surah Al-Baqarah, if you go through, ayat 196, 197, it's a clear reference to, you know Surah Al-Baqarah,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, and that refers to Masjid al-Haram, you know this.
No, it
Are you-
talks about it. It doesn't refer to it. It talks
Yeah, it talks about Masjid al-Haram. It explains the dynamics of what was happening at Masjid al-Haram and so on. Yeah?
No, it doesn't necessarily explain that.
Not all of it, but the primary intent here is, in terms of what the Muslims needing to take over, or I use the term take over, but, wanting to make use of Masjid al-Haram for Allah's worship. So in that context, that's the background to the surah. So if you go to Surah Ayat 114, please, if you read that, and who are more, sorry.
ومن أظلم ممن منع مساجد الله أن يذكر فيها اسمه وسعى في خرابها أولئك ما كان لهم أن يدخلوها إلا خائفين لهم في الدنيا خزي ولهم في الآخرة عذاب عظيم. Yes, so
Yeah. See, so if I could read in English, who are more unjust than those who prevent the name of Allah from being mentioned in His mosques and strive toward their destruction? Strive.
Yeah, I want to finish with this. I'll come. Sorry? Do I want to talk to him?
Yes, the brother.
Yeah, I'll come. Yeah, inshallah. Yeah.
So you're very reasonable. This is what you should do at Speaker's Corner.
It's fine, brother. I tried to example. That's what it is. Man.
Sure. So now what you've done, I commend you. I really commend you. This is good behavior. And the gentleman, the first gentleman who came and told I abuse. So far you can see I go with the facts. I disagree with him. So anyway, Masjid al-Haram,
Facts,
Allah,
not really, but it's fine, brother.
Masjid al-Haram, Allah can't be mentioned, is what that surah says. Not just Masjid al-Haram, everywhere where the Muslims thought Allah has to be mentioned, Allah can't be mentioned. It is that which is the context. If you further read in surah, in ayats 216, 217, they eventually go and they insist, hey look, if you refuse to allow us to proclaim Allah here, we will take that as persecution and we will barge our way in, and persecution is worse than slaughter. In our minds, we would much rather come and fight and kill you than...
Where are you basing this off, brother?
It's there in surah, same surah.
So, brother,
further
you
progress
see
is-
that verse that we mentioned,
Yep.
the 114.
Yep.
Do you know what's ironic? That verse can be interpreted as modern day right now, as they've stopped the people from praying in Aqsa. You know that?
Yeah, exactly.
You know that they've stopped them praying from Aqsa.
So you tell me, in Aqsa, should Allah be praised? You tell me.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Of course.
I'll explain. I'll explain. Do you know the history of Al-Aqsa?
I mean, based on...
History. Based on history.
Yeah, sure. Let's say I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So Al-Aqsa is the place of the Jewish Temple Mount. That's it's on top of Temple Mount. It's a place of the Jerusalem's temple. Yeah, Temple of Jerusalem. Solomon, King David. King David didn't build. Solomon built.
Yeah, Sulaiman built a mosque there.
Yeah, not mosque. Now this is exactly the same point
Okay,
I'm
so-
making right now.
Okay,
Can
let's
you-
not call it a mosque. But what did he build there? He built a place of worship to worship God.
No, he built a temple of Jerusalem.
What was meant to be done in the temple?
Torah.
What was meant to be done in the temple?
I'm explaining.
Was it
I'm
meant
answering.
to worship God, right?
No.
What was it meant
I'm
to do?
answering. Yehovah, a specific God, had to be worshipped in that temple according to details given in the Torah with the Levitical priesthood and all sorts of sacrifices associated with the Torah there. Not some random one God worship. No, it's a particular God worship, Yehovah.
It's different God from what you believe in.
From Allah. I believe in the same God.
You believe in the same God.
I believe in the same God, Yehovah.
Is it one God?
One God.
I'm genuinely asking because I don't know what you
There's
believe
one
in.
God.
You believe
There's
in
one God.
Yeah.
One God who is complex in nature. He's not
Yes.
simple like you and me.
Yeah.
Complex. But think about Masjid al-Aqsa. This is important. Can you imagine the Muslims going there in the 7th century? The Muslims went there
Yeah.
and they insisted that, hey, look, we also worship one God, and therefore we will build our mosque here. Why? Because they delusionally thought, like the example I gave you of the building, the church, which the Muslims said, hey, look, but Allah needs to be worshipped there, and they barge in. What would the Christians do?
No.
That's exactly what happened in the Temple Mount.
Let's be genuine here, right?
Temple Mount, that's exactly what happened.
When Umar ibn Khattab, when he arrived in Jerusalem to receive the keys for that, the priest that was there asked him to come and pray inside the church, and he specifically refused not pray in the church. Why? Because he said, if I pray here, people will make it a mosque after, and he was concerned about the church.
Where do you get this information from?
Where did you get your information from, brother?
I'm going with history right
History?
now. Yeah, history right
Based
now.
on what, brother?
Let me ask you a simple question.
Yeah.
Do you think the Jews agree with Islam?
They probably would just ignore it.
Yeah, I mean,
for
them it's a different religion, yeah?
No, like they would ignore it, push it away, but if they were genuine, they would actually see that it's the truth and it's what they're supposed to be.
That's what you would think. But
No,
according
it's
to the
genuine.
Jews,
I've seen some Christians.
according to the Jews, it is Torah, not Sharia. Torah.
And what is their Torah based on?
Well, the Torah is the first 5 books in the Bible. The Torah, according to the
I know,
Torah, you can't worship Allah there. According to the Torah,
Who do they worship then?
they worship Yehovah. Yehovah, which is a very different God.
Brother, I let you talk for a very long time, brother. And I just wanted to hear where we're going on this. I cannot, and you cannot, read this based on your understanding and try and justify your own beliefs and try and implement your beliefs on that. That's what I want to say to you, brother. And the reason, I'm going to go back to what I asked you earlier. I said to you, who embodies their religion best, whether is it Christians or Muslims? But you can answer that question, brother. I mean, if you were genuine with me, brother, you would say to me that Muslims, whether you agree with Islam or you don't agree, who follows their religion to the utmost, you would say that Muslims follow their religion.
Why? On what basis?
What do you mean on what basis?
I'm asking you, give me some quantity by which you are arriving at your conclusion.
Look, I don't know anything about Christianity, but I know some genuine things, and you
But
can.
you have arrived at your conclusion.
I want
on what
to see.
basis have you done this? And you are even gaslighting.
I'm not gaslighting. But no, brother.
Once I'll
You've
finish.
talked a lot. You've talked a lot.
I know. But
I'm
me
being,
clarify.
You can see I'm being
and
genuine.
I'll tell you why how you gaslighted. You questioned my whether I was genuine. And you said if I was genuine, I would have answered in a particular way in which I didn't answer in your view.
Cool.
And for which you need to now give me some...
I tried to establish a basis on people who know the actual book, and you said to me, no, you're acting like you didn't know.
I know the book. You were
You
talking
know
about
the book
recitation.
specifically, but let's stop a random Christian and see if he knows his
I'm going
Bible.
to ask you again, Hassan. Give me some
Okay,
quantity.
let's do it.
Quantity. What statistic are you going by?
Brother, if I bring up statistics, you're not going to believe my statistics.
What statistic do you have in mind?
Of what?
You are saying Muslims are doing this better.
I'm going to ask you a question.
What is your statistics?
That's fine.
Where is your statistic coming from?
You're Christian, right?
I am.
Do you fast?
When there is a need, yeah.
When there is a need. Aren't you meant to fast in your holy book? Does it not mention that you're supposed to fast?
No.
Does it not mention that you're supposed to cover up? A woman is supposed to cover up?
Not in the way Muslims do, no.
Okay.
That's abusive.
Did Jesus not grow his beard out?
Well, that's irrelevant.
Did Jesus not put his head on the floor?
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
Yes.
Okay. So, brother, my point.
You know what has happened right now?
So, brother, I'm asking
you know what has happened right
what
now?
has happened right now?
If you know anything about the Bible, you would understand why some of these points are completely irrelevant.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you know the Jews of the Bible were excellently religious? Do you know this?
Please, can I?
Do you know the Jews of the Bible were excellently religious?
Brother,
do you know this?
Brother, can I speak now? I let you speak for a long time. I'm just trying to make this point, but you just don't want to answer this simple question.
I'll get back.
Okay, let me speak. I asked you who's well-rounded in their knowledge of their own book. You acted like you didn't know who it was. And
wait. Don't use the word act. You're gaslighting.
Okay.
Tell me what are the facts you're using to discredit what I've said.
Okay, one more thing. Who attends the church?
Please, you've been gaslighting a few different ways.
You keep using.
I
don't even know what gaslighting means.
So please answer.
Yeah.
You seem to have the idea that the Muslims are following better than the Christians.
Do you even know why I'm
But let me
that point?
finish.
Do you know?
I'm not interested. My question
You're not
is...
interested?
No, please listen carefully.
Sure.
My question is, you seem to have that idea, but so far you haven't given any statistic to back up your idea. Just because you have an idea, it doesn't become true.
Sure.
So I'm
I agree
asking
with
you,
that.
where is your evidence coming from?
That's fine.
What's your source of information?
That's fine, brother. So I'm going to remind you why I'm speaking about this.
What
brother.
is your source of information for that particular? You have
fine.
said I'm not genuine.
That's fine.
You have said if you have been genuine, you've done that.
Brother,
this and so on.
if I bring any statistics, you're not going to believe my
But
statistics.
do you
because
have
I
any?
came with it and
Do you have
I don't
any?
have any, brother. I
Sure,
don't have
that's
any.
it.
I don't have any
Now
statistics.
let's put it this way.
Obvious.
Can you imagine happening? Some fellow coming here and saying, "Hey, look, you have
Brother, I am not going to allow you to cut me from continuing my point again, brother. You've cut me so many
But
times.
that's
from
fine.
speaking this
Now
point.
get back to the.
That's fine. Let me speak my point. We started by you showing me some verses in the Quran.
About
and I
peace.
told you I'm not well informed enough to interpret that verse.
But
or
were
to
you able to
explain-
contradict me?
To explain that verse, brother. But then you had your own beliefs and you're trying to implement it on the book.
I just read.
My point was going to be very simple. My point was going to be very simple. But you couldn't answer a very simple question on who follows their religion to the utmost.
That
My
was
point.
irrelevant.
I'm going to say to you my point now. We're going to skip. Let's accept. There's a possibility that Muslims follow their religion up to the utmost. My point was this. If Muslims follow their religion to the utmost, why are they not doing what you're claiming that they actually do? Why are Muslims peaceful, or if you're claiming they are not peaceful?
Good.
That's my
Thank you.
question to you.
That question didn't.
And also as well.
I'll answer.
Also, when you
Israelites for Israel.
sorry, this is very distracting.
And when we come in the
When you were
Bible, we are
saying-
giving them the message.
When you were saying that Allah was that they weren't meant to go into the Kaaba and worship it, we're not supposed to remove the idols that were there. You were saying that, right? Something like that. Reminds me of
That's
what
the
you said.
story you've been told.
No, but remind me just roughly. Just give me
The summary there is
summary, please.
the Muslims claimed that at Masjid al-Haram everyone agreed Allah needs to be worshipped. On that everyone agreed is what they claim.
No,
but the Quran contradicts that claim.
Okay.
According to the custodians of Masjid al-Haram, Allah cannot be worshipped. Surah 2, Ayah 114.
Allah cannot be worshipped there.
At Masjid al-Haram.
It literally does not say. If you just read the ayah, it does not say that. So I
It
don't-
doesn't say. It says Allah can't be. We can read. The name Allah can't be
It's fine,
proclaimed.
brother. I just wanted to say this.
Yeah, name Allah.
That's
sure,
fine. وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ مَنَعَ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ يُذْكَرَ فِيهَا اسْمُهُ
What
وَسَعَ
does
فِي
it say?
خَرَابِهَا أُولَٰئِكَ مَا كَانَتْ لَهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ. Brother, my point was very simple.
What does it
brother.
say? Can Allah be worshipped there or not?
Brother, I'm not going to interpret it based on my understanding, but it
What
does not
does it say? Tell
it does,
me.
I can tell you what it
Can I
does
read?
not say. It does not say.
Can I
what-
read?
Okay, read.
Who are more unjust? So it's talking about some people committing injustice, yeah? Who are more unjust than those who prevent the name of Allah from being mentioned.
Yeah.
So clearly some people had prevented the name of Allah from being mentioned in some place. What is the place? When you read through Surah Al-Baqarah, further down, you
Okay,
get
so
to know.
I could very-
So the name of Allah could not be mentioned. Said who? The custodians, the ones who were managing the property said, no Allah here.
They didn't allow the name of Allah to be mentioned.
That's what
and
this
the
says.
verse is saying, who is more unjust than them? Because
Yeah.
it's a great injustice not allowing God to be remembered.
That's what the Muslims thought. Like the way saying,
That's what the verse is saying.
yeah, but essentially, what does the verse, according to the
It's
verse,
saying what they're doing is very unjust.
sure,
And the
I hear what
remembrance
you're
of God
saying.
is very
But
important.
can you see that the verse records, even though this is meant to be from the Muslims, it records a historical fact that the other parties who owned the building said, no Allah here. Can you see that is mentioned here? That is recorded here. No Allah here, they said.
I'm not sure.
Whether Muslims saw that as injustice or not is a different story. But they said no Allah here, and that's recorded as a historical
They said
fact.
Allah is not allowed to be worshipped here.
Yeah, can't even
But
be
you
mentioned
didn't-
here.
But you didn't say that in the beginning.
That's
Brother,
what
we
they said.
We keep getting sidetracked.
I
No,
remember the
no.
example I gave you. A church. Let's say there is a building which is a church, a Christian church, where the Muslims think Allah could be mentioned there, worshipped there,
Yeah.
and they want to barge in. The Christians say, no, we don't do Allah here. We do Jesus here. We do Jehovah here. No Allah here. But the Muslims say, oh no, we are dealing with the same one God, and therefore we'll come in and do what we want to do. And in that situation, the Muslims would be criminals in that situation. And I'm saying that is exactly what has happened here. The custodians of Masjid al-Haram said, no Allah here.
Yeah.
The Muslims thought that was a serious injustice. They didn't own the building. The owners of the building said, no Allah. The Muslims barged in and insisted And eventually in the same surah, ayat 217, 216, 217, it says, the Muslims even said, if we are prevented from proclaiming Allah here, we will much rather kill you. Persecution is worse than slaughter, is what surah 216, the same surah, ayat 216 or 217 says.
Brother, sorry, you've been talking, but I don't see your point. And you did the same thing again, but I'm very respectful to you, brother. I was speaking, but then it became you giving your point.
Our video will have the recording. Please watch this again. Where you asked me, I can tell you why I gave you this long response, because earlier you said that I didn't say Allah could not be mentioned. I actually meant that was my singular point right from the start when I was talking about Masjid
Okay,
al-Aqsa.
can you at least give me applause for actually sitting through and listening to what you have to say respectfully?
I commend you in my,
Okay.
I can tell you this very honestly. I've been at Speaker's Corner now for about 18 years. About 18 years. I can tell you, you are the cream of Muslims I've run into at Speaker's Corner.
Okay.
I would say, like you, there have only been maybe 20 Muslims maximum, like you. The rest, they will disrupt the conversation just because they don't want to get more information out on the table. At least you were able to say, look, I listen. Maybe I won't comment, but I listen. So I commend you. I really commend you.